The 2.8 homework is long. You guys will definitely need to probably break this up into parts so it doesn't feel so long. And some of these have multiple parts. So we are looking at 30 questions here. Let's talk about the ready. I'm only going to spend a couple minutes talking about the ready. I want to focus on the set mostly. So we're going to be evaluating functions in the ready. And this is review. And this is getting us ready to move into Module 3. We're going to be doing a lot of this in Module 3 actually. So when we're told find h of negative 11 in number 1, everywhere we see x, we're going to put negative 11. And one of the things that you guys still struggle with is putting parentheses around the things that you are plugging in. So when we put in the negative 11, please use parentheses. Now at this point, I don't care if you plug right into Desmos or you plug right into your calculator. That's fine, because if you don't plug in correctly, you're not going to type into your calculator correctly. So make sure you use parentheses. So you're going to go through and do that for all of these. Be careful with number 4, where you are plugging in for a base, so we're using logs. And then in number 6 and in number 7, you're plugging in the x for an exponent also. So just be careful. It's not multiplication in the sense that here in 6 it's 5 times 3. We're going to have 5 cubed plus 2 times 3. So again, I am okay with you guys plugging into your calculator, because right now it's just, can you plug into x correctly? So hopefully you can, and make sure you check your answers. Okay, now we're moving into this part of the set, and you have 9 questions here. Now these are actually multiple choice questions. What I would suggest is actually solve for x. You could plug in and work backwards. That is definitely an option. But I'm going to suggest solve for x. That's what you're going to have to be able to do on your test next week. It's not going to be multiple choice. So in the first 3, I'm going to do 1 from each of these, and then hopefully that will be enough to get you going. I'm going to go ahead and do 11 since it's off to the side. In all of these 9, 10, and 11, we only have 1 log. When there is 1 log, you guys need to go into exponential form. You don't have another option. Exponential form. And in 9 and 10, remember, if there's no base, the log is a base of 10. So in 11, we have a base of 3. So I'm going to put this into exponential form. So this would be 3 squared equals 2x plus 1. Now I can go through and solve for x. So 3 squared is 9. Okay, now you should be able to finish from here. Subtract 1 and then divide by 2. And then you will have your answer of 4, I believe it is. So the first 3 are pretty simple. Then the next 3 get to be a little bit more challenging. And, okay, sorry, I paused, so I'm going to start over with talking about 12, 13, and 14. The difference in 12, 13, and 14 is that you have multiple logs. So this is where we're going to have to use some log properties. In number 12, that one's really simple. You have a log equals a log, so you can cancel your logs. Now in 13 and 14, you have 2 logs on one side. We have a log plus a log, and we have a log minus a log. So we are going to need to use the log properties before you can cancel the logs. And in 13, you also have a 3 in front. So we need to use the power property, move the 3 back as an exponent. So then, I wish I had more room. Let me go ahead and erase that. Then I have a place to write. Okay, so I go ahead and I move that 3 back, and I have log of x to the third. Then addition becomes multiplication. So I'll have log of 16 times 4. Once I'm at this point, I can now cancel my logs, and then you end up with x cubed equals 64. So now what cubed is 64? So you should be able to finish that one nicely. In 14, you have subtraction, so we do need to recognize subtraction will become a fraction. So you'd have 2x over x minus 2 equals log base 2 of 3. Now you can cancel your logs. Now this one's a little tricky. We did do stuff like this in class today. So, and we've done stuff like this before anyways, where we have a fraction and we need to get rid of it. So we're going to multiply by x minus 2 to both sides. And that allows us to cancel the x minus 2's. So we end with 2x equals, and then I can distribute 3x minus 6. Now you guys can finish solving for x. Alright, moving on. 15, 16, and 17, we're back to a single log. So a single log, we do want to go into exponential form. And I'm going to kind of let you go through these ones. Single log, exponential form. The only one I am going to, actually let me do 16 with you guys. That one might be a little bit challenging. So I'm going to go ahead and put this in exponential form, which is 3 to the x equals 15. I don't want you guys going through and using guess and check here. That's just too time consuming. You're actually not going to get the exact answer that you need. So this popped up in the homework for 2.7, where you guys in the set were having to solve for an exponent, and we had to apply a log to both sides. So anytime you are solving for x to be an exponent, or sorry, when you're solving x that is an exponent, log both sides. If I log both sides, I can now use the power property. So I can move the x to the front. And I now have x log of 3 equals log of 15. And then to get x by itself, all I need to do is divide by log 3. And now in my calculator, I can do log base 15 divided by the log of 3. Alright, moving on to the next part. Alright, so now in 18 through 21, just evaluate, you guys. Use your properties of logs. You're going to need to rewrite some things. For example, this is 50 to the 1/2. And then what can you do with that? Try and simplify these the best you can. Use log properties. Use a calculator when you can. I am okay with that. And when you can't, then don't. So I'm not going to go through much here, but each of you have 3 different expressions, so don't confuse them. Let me highlight each expression with a different color. And then you have the second one. They're all separated by commas, but for some reason students tend to not recognize that. So evaluate each of these. Use your product property, use quotient property, use power property, use a calculator, whatever you have at your disposal, and see which ones are equal. Alright, let's move on to the last part of our homework for tonight. We've seen a few of these already back in Module 1, but we didn't spend a whole lot of time on them. Your goal is to get these to have the same base. Once these have the same base, you can solve for an exponent. So I'm going to go ahead and do 22 and 23, and 29. And then that should be enough to get you going. So 4 and 64, I need those to be the same base. So I'm going to see if I can turn the 64 into a 4. So the question is, 4 to the what is 64? Well, that would be 3. So this would be 4 to the 2x minus 7 equals 4 to the third. Once your bases are the same, now your exponents also equal. I'm not going to do anything past that. In 23, you have a fraction. So we need to remember fractions come from negative exponents. So our question is, 5 to the what is 125? 5 cubed is 125. So since I'm dealing with a whole number to a fraction, my answer will be negative. So x will equal negative 3. And then in 29, which is a little bit more challenging than 27, so you guys should be able to take what I'm going to do in 29 and still apply it in 27. We have a 3/4 to the x equals 16 over 9. And if I look at this, it's 3 to the what over 4 to the what. So I put the x to everything inside the exponent, or the parentheses. Then I have a 16 over 9. Well, 3 to the what is 16. 4 to the what is 9. Nothing. And, well, a decimal, but I don't want to work with a decimal. So now, what I recognize, and hopefully you do too, they actually pair it better crisscross. The 3 goes with the 9 and the 4 goes with the 16. Well, what happens to make our fractions flip? That means x is going to be negative. So now 3 to the what is 9, 4 to the what is 16, 2. So x will equal negative 2. And in 27, they're actually not flipped. The 2 does go with the 16, and the 3 does go with the 81. So just ask yourself, 2 to the what is 16, 3 to the what is 81, and you will be able to find your answer. Alright, this is a long homework. Take your time through it. If you have questions, please message on Remind, or come in and see us in the morning, or during lunch, or after school. And we'll see you tomorrow.